Hello friends, welcome to Reads and Eats. My name is Fiona. I'm really glad you clicked on my video today. It's just going to be about the books that I've read this week, what I'm going to be doing this weekend, my weekend plans, etc. So it's just going to be a nice chatty video, hopefully, with not too much yawning. We're going to just catch you up on what I've been reading this week. It's been a good week, I have to say. I've had a fairly decent week, which is reading wise, which is good, so that's been good. So first book I finished was the one that I was reading last weekend, and that's The Holiday Escape by Heidi Swain. I gave this one 3 out of 5. It's not, I enjoyed it, but for me it's not as good as, shall we say, her Winthrop Hall ones or her Nightingale Square. I prefer them. So we meet Ali, and Ali helps her dad look after the business that they built up from their house called Hollyhock Cottage. Now, when Ali's mum was alive, Ali's mum and dad worked at Hollyhock Cottage, helping to look after the lady that lived there. And when she passed away, she gave them the cottage and all its grounds, etc. in her will. And her mum and dad came up with this plan for the cottage and things. And one day her mum says to Ali, if something happens to me, do you promise me that you will stay and help your dad? And Ali makes that promise, and it means that she has done a Spanish and history degree, and she wants to use that, but she can't. And she feels that she's tied to Hollyhock Cottage and cannot escape. But every sort of couple of months she does go on, say, a week's holiday somewhere, and in this one we find that she's going to Barcelona. On the plane she meets this gentleman and this nun, and they get chatting, not something that she does, and the nun persuades her to show the gentleman Logan round Barcelona. To do this, she tends to do, when she's away, she assumes another name and a character, and she does this in Barcelona. But things happen, and she ends up, I wouldn't say fleeing, but she ends up not contacting after something happens. And she comes home and she's still feeling very discombobulated, is the way I'm going to put it. And then, lo and behold, he arrives at Hollyhock Cottage, and he's there for the whole summer, and it's a story of will they get together, will they not get together, can they sort out what happened in Barcelona. There's also the story of a supposed friend that Ali and her best friend Flo had when they were in school. She comes back into the mix. Why is she there? What's she doing? So it was a good story. It was a good plot line. I don't know, there was just something about it that was, I'm just sort of saying, Oh, I'm so sorry, friends. The yawning today is just bad. I sort of liked Ali as a character. I liked where she ended up at the end, put it this way. I liked that she learned to know who she was and what was important to her. I really, really liked that. I liked her father. I thought her father was a great character. I really did. I liked Logan, and I liked her friends. They were really good. The supposed friend who came back, no, I didn't like her at all. And I think that was supposed to happen anyway. So yeah, will it stay in my shelves? I don't know. I know that Mum will probably want to read it, so it'll probably stay in my shelves until that point. I honestly can't see myself reading it again, if I'm being totally 100% honest. So it may go to a charity shop. So yeah, it's a shame because I really love Heidi Swain as an author. Just this one didn't strike a chord with me. The second book I read was Nightingale Way by Emily March. This is book, now I think this is book 4 or 5 in the Eternity Springs series. And I loved this book. I don't know what it is with me in the awning today. I really don't. So, Eternity Springs is this lovely town that has been rescued in many ways by Celeste Blessing. And she has helped develop the town in many, many ways. There are three founding families that founded the town way back when. And one of those families is the Davenport family. So we've met Jack on a couple of occasions now. But this is his story. And also the story of his wife Kat, or his ex-wife Kat, Catherine. Now, Catherine is an investigative reporter, and she has recently blown apart this dog fighting ring. And people are after her, okay? Jack happens to work for Melinda, who is Catherine's mother, and they work for the CIA, okay? And basically he kidnaps Kath at her mother and father's behest and brings her to Eagle's Way, his home in Eternity Springs, to keep her safe. It is the story of Catherine finding out what she really wants. You know, maybe investigative reporting now is maybe not what she wants to do, but maybe she still wants to be a journalist, but how can she do that? It's also Jack making a very important decision as to what he wants to do with the rest of his life. It is the two of them coming to terms with why their marriage ended. And can they move on from that, or will it pull them back together? And do they really want to be together? Is it something that is for them? I loved seeing Kath make friends in Eternity Springs with Celeste, Ali, everybody else. There is a hilarious moment for Sarah's bachelorette party. Oh, that was fun. I loved catching up with all the other characters like Celeste, etc. And also seeing Jack develop his friendships within the town and also with his cousin Cam. It was just delightfully written. The characters are just so well portrayed. The town sounds an absolute delight. Angel's Rest, it sounds like a wonderful place that you want to go visit and stay and just enjoy the town, enjoy what Angel's Rest has to offer. I love this series. I gave this one 4.5 to 5 out of 5. I will definitely be carrying on with it, you know, because it's just such a good series. Yeah. If you like small town, if you like well-developed characters, or characters that are developed, that have, shall we say, that have had difficulties in their past, but they grow to, you know, to adapt and to reconcile with these difficulties, then this is a series for you, because it's just so nice. And I love the fact that although we get sort of separate character stories in each book, we also get to hear more of, when we get to catch up with all the other characters, they are still very much an integral part of the storyline, which is wonderful. So yes, so I've thoroughly enjoying this series and can't wait to read the next one. I then picked up City Spies Golden Gate by James Ponti. This is book 2 in the City Spies series. I only started it yesterday. I've read that much of it. this is the book that I will be reading for today and into the for the weekend. I'll probably get this finished, I would reckon, Saturday. But this is book 2. This is my final book for middle grade me, and I am thoroughly enjoying this. It's nice to see what the characters are doing now, and it's also a fact of them sort of trying to come to terms with where they are within the whole group, and if things don't go wrong, how can that be sorted, etc. So thoroughly enjoying this. I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes, because I think there are going to be 2 timelines or 2 storylines running within this book. So yeah, so I'm definitely going to be finishing that one this weekend. If I do finish it, then I'm going to pick up In the Key of Family by McKenna Lee. McKenna Lee is the author for the May category romance book group that Sarah from the Bookish Knitter runs. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've read the first book in this series, and I'm now looking forward to reading book 2. So that's it for this video, friends. I've tried to record it in a different way, in that each book is being given its own segment, because I want to see if that fixes the various problems I had with editing last week. So if you get little gaps, then that's why. But I just want to see if that works. But yeah, so that's it for the books that I'm reading. You can hear barking. I'm looking after the other half's dog. He's already been out for a walk. He's had his dinner. He's just being a wee bism at the moment. So I don't know what's up with him, but hey ho. But yeah, so he's actually fine. He's just wanting attention, I suspect. But yeah, so that's me with what I've read. Have you read any of the books I've mentioned? Please come chat with me down in the comments down below if you have. I'd love to know. What have you been reading this week? And do you have any plans for the weekend? I will be watching some rugby this weekend. We've got the finals of the European Challenge Cup and Champions Cup, so definitely be watching those. I do plan to have a look at my books this week, because hopefully, fingers crossed, next week we are heading down to Barter Books, Mum, Dad and I and the other half. And I want to go down there with a list of books that I want to get, so that I know what I'm looking for. So I think there are books and series that I definitely want to get to finish off the series if I can, or to give me the next one in the series. So I want to sort of start looking at my books and seeing what I need to do that way. But the sun's out. Hopefully the sun stays out over the weekend. I might get to sit outside for a while as well. But that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe. It helps my channel keep growing, and it's doing that, and I'm loving that. I'm loving interacting with all of you in the comments as well. And it just helps me out in the algorithm as well. So it's really nice to just keep it going, which is lovely. But until my next video, friends, stay safe, happy reading. Bye!